name is Tim Sales. I'd like to first say that you're not going to see glitz here, so please don't expect it. I'm not an entertainer nor an actor. I've created this video as a tool designed to educate people about a business concept that works, for people who are willing to put 100% of themselves into something. See, it takes 200% to be successful in business. 100% must come from you. 100% must come from the business vehicle that you've chosen. Business vehicle meaning how you earn your living, how you support your family. I've seen people who relentlessly pour 100% of themselves into a business vehicle, profession, or job, but that vehicle doesn't have the capability to give back 100%. The mechanics of wealth are just not there. But no one has ever fully explained to you why it doesn't work and why it's a waste of your valuable time if your goal is financial success. This video is for the person who is willing to put in their 100%. They're only lacking the right business vehicle, the explanation of why it's right, and the evidence that it does in fact work. Even though I say you must put in 100%, that doesn't mean that you have to work it full time. I didn't. That doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your family time, nor does it mean you have to have prior experience. I didn't. What you'll learn right here has allowed me to build a $25 million company. Now, a $25 million company has certainly been done before. However, this was done where no employees were required. No accounts receivable, no accounts payable, no overhead, and very little inventory. Recently, I said those words to a business owner who said back to me, "Sounds too good to be true." My response back to him was, "Is that a good enough reason to stop looking?" He paused for a couple of seconds and he said, "That wouldn't be very smart, would it?" What I suggest you do is not just watch this information, but study it. What I want to do first is create an equal playing field between people who know how to evaluate a business and those who don't. Because me explaining this business wouldn't be very effective until you understand how to place value to a business. The simplest thing for someone to do when they don't understand something is to go, it doesn't work. The way I'll accomplish this equal playing field is to give you 4 main principles to look for in a business. Number 1 is a huge expanding market. If you were the best vinyl record producer in the world, would it matter today? No. It doesn't matter how good you are in an industry that's eroding. Number 2 is a unique and consumable product. I'll cover unique first. If you don't have a unique product, then you compete on price and convenience. Who has the best price? Who's closest to the customer? Yet if you have uniqueness, then people must come to you. Next is consumable. If you have a non-consumable product, you're basically unemployed until your next sell. You want the repeat sales of consumable products. Whether it's every time someone picks up the telephone, connects to the internet, renews a membership, turns on the electricity, or gets to the bottom of a box or a bottle, you want those repeating commissions because it can pay you again and again. Number 3 is timing. Primarily here I'm talking about trends in timing. During all cycles of the economy, there are people who are making money and losing money. The makers are the ones in front of large trends. The losers disregard trends. How do you get in front of large trends? You study what creates them. Without any hesitation, in today's society, it's the baby boom generation that creates the largest trends. The baby boomers are a group of babies born between 1946 and 1964. There were 76 million of them born in the United States, 1 billion of them worldwide. Why is this group so talked about? They're 1/3 of the U.S. population and control 65% of all the money. I've likened the magnitude of all those babies to a basketball moving through a garden hose. They reshape every industry they go through. See, if you can predict where this basketball is going down the garden hose, you possess the ability to make fortunes. I want to give you some historical examples of the obvious buying patterns of these boomers. It started with a company called Gerber back in 1940, who were barely known. But by 1955, just 10 years after the boomers were born, they had sold 1.8 billion jars of strained baby food. As the boomers took their first steps, it was Buster Brown and Kenny Shoes. When the boomers went out to play, Mattel and Hasbro got rich providing toys to this young group. In 1957, we built more elementary schools in the U.S. in 1 year just to handle the overflow than we did in any 12-year period before or after. As the boomers went through their teens, Dairy Queen, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken became billion-dollar companies feeding the boomers. When the boomers moved through their 20s and 30s, which was in the mid-70s, what was the industry to be in? Real estate. Why? Because the boomers had heard from their parents one time too many, as long as you're living under my roof, you'll do as I say. So they wanted their own roof, which created a 15-year real estate boom. And people are still talking today about the great time frame to be in real estate. Then what happened to the real estate market in the late 80s? It began its decline. Why? The basketball had moved through the real estate industry. Another example of this is the U.S. stock market. Several years ago, I heard a stock market analyst speaking on the radio saying that he just couldn't believe the stock market had a 15-year rise. Notice the number 15 years keeps coming up? Anyone with a good understanding of the baby boomers could have seen this coming and profited from the recent stock market activity. Why does this 15-year number keep coming up? Because the baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. And so 18 years separates the front edge from the back edge. A very important number for you. If you look for trends on the front side of the basketball, you get the full 18 years for your products to be popular. That's the reason you study the nose of the basketball. So your business, no matter what your business is to be looking at what industries are expanding or which industries are about to expand. You shouldn't care how long you've been doing something or how long you've been in school to learn something. Are you in front of trends or not? Don't have a loyalty to something just because you've been educated in it or doing it for a long time. So looking at the current trends, we basically got 1 billion people who are in their 50s and 60s. Since that's the case, what business do you want to be in? Let's look at some obvious current and future trends. Health and looking younger are going to be tremendous trends. The boomers do not like what aging is doing to them. So products that fend off aging as well as vanity issues will continue to boom. Businesses that focus on retirement issues will do very well. The crux of it will start with the boomers having enough money to retire. Businesses that offer ways to make money will obviously flourish. Legal matters such as wills and estate planning will become large trends. Efficiencies will also grow. The television was too far away from the couch for the boomers, so they invented the remote control device. Today, they have their entire library of books and music in their cell phones. The boomers have always been enamored with technologies that make life easier. These technologies will actually create industries. For example, the computer created the need for antivirus software. The internet has created a need for identity theft protection and firewalls. But there will be many additional industries created by the computer and internet technologies. It is the computer plus the internet that made the iPod, iPad, and iPhone possible. As a side note, the baby boomers are not the only trendsetters. They are just the largest and have most of the money. As the world becomes one, the international market will play a big role, as well as the group born just after the baby boomers that are known as Generation X. But remember, the boomers control 65% of all the money. So when a bright Generation X person creates a great new product or service, they must make it simple enough that a baby boomer can understand it. Otherwise, that product will not reach mass acceptance. Those are some of the big trends. So if you want to be brilliantly compensated, you must focus on industries and companies that have positioned themselves in front of these trends. All right, let's move forward. Number 4 is leverage. I'm going to spend some time on this one because we're not really taught this in our society. We're taught to go get a good education, build a resume, and exchange our expertise for someone's dollars. The problem with that is if we're not exchanging our expertise, we're not making any dollars. So vacation time is costly. A walk around the golf course, costly. Family time, although extremely important, is costly. I'll define the word leverage as an increased means by which to attain something. One form of leverage is investing $5 million and earning 10% interest, which will yield you about 41 grand a month in income. So whether you're enjoying family time or playing golf or vacationing, you're still enjoying 41 grand a month in income. You're leveraging off your money. That's a leverage everyone would love, but very few have it. Let me explain another kind of leverage that's available to everyone, including yourself. Incidentally, if you get nothing more out of this video than a better understanding of this little simple concept I'm going to explain, you'll have gained something very valuable for watching it. Imagine, if you will, you own a company. You employ just one person, me. I work for 8 hours on Monday. You work for the same 8 hours on Monday that I do. Now listen closely. You get paid on 16 hours worth of work, because you take a portion of my productivity as income back to yourself. You're leveraging off my efforts because I'm your employee. So theoretically, the more employees you have working for you, the more leverage you have. However, have you ever had employees? If you have, you know that in theory, hiring employees sounds great, but it's very difficult to reach leverage through employees. I've heard it said that if you have one employee, you have one headache. If you have 100 employees, you run an adult daycare center. And the reason being is this: no employee will ever work as hard for your company as you will, because they don't own it. Here's my rule of thumb for reaching true leverage. If there's one sentence that epitomizes the entire video, it would be this: to have true leverage, you must create a situation where everyone has the same amount to gain. Only then do you have true leverage. Let me give you an example of this type of leverage. Let's say that I'm a real estate broker and I hire an agent named Robert. Robert goes out and sells a building. Robert earns a percentage of the selling price of the building, and so do I, the broker. Why do I, the broker, earn a percentage when it was Robert who sold the building? Well, I did some of the advertising. I trained Robert. I had the initiative to go get my broker's license in the first place. I put up the risk. I did a lot of things. And so it's valid that I, as the broker, earn my money. But Robert doesn't work for me as an employee. He's an independent contractor. He just hangs his real estate license on my wall. My point here is the broker and the agent have the same amount to gain from the sale of the home. It is totally in the agent's interest to earn more money, which is a form of leverage for the broker. There is a flaw in this leverage situation that I've shown you, and it's this: the broker can have multiple agents, but the agents cannot. The broker has leverage, the agents don't. Until the agents do what most brokers dread. What happens when I, the broker, have been real effective at teaching Robert to be a good agent? What's Robert going to want to do in a couple of years? Be his own broker, right? Is this good for me, the broker? No, because as soon as he becomes a broker, two bad things happen to me. Number one, he breaks away from me and I lose him as an income source. And two, worse than that, he's now my competitor that I trained. He knows all my good stuff. By the way, this doesn't just happen in the real estate industry. It happens in practically every industry. Have you ever heard the expression, "I'm just going to work there for experience"? What does that mean? It means I'm going to strip them of their knowledge and then go do it myself. If you're a business owner, how many people have you trained who are no longer working for you? How many people have you trained to be your competitors? Well, this gets worse. Let's say that Robert is now a broker right down the street. What will he do now that he's a broker? He'll go out and hire his own agents. And let's say one of those agents is Linda. Linda also eventually wants to be a broker. So she becomes a competitor to me that I indirectly trained, as well as Robert, who I directly trained. And this continues on and on. I actually created a chain of competitors that I trained. What if we did a whole paradigm shift? Here's where this becomes brilliant. Let's say instead I'm going to empower Robert to become a broker. I want him to become a broker from day one. See, the only way that you or I can retain a leader is provide him or her with the same opportunity for growth that we have. Hence, an opportunity where everyone has the same amount to gain. So from day one, I'm going to encourage Robert to be a broker. And when he does, he doesn't break away from me and become my competitor. He shifts from agent to broker, which now allows him to sponsor his own agents. Now, to create an incentive for me, the broker, to always help Robert and his agents, I'm still going to earn a percentage of what he and his agents sell. And shouldn't I? I trained him. I put up the risk and all those reasons I mentioned earlier. Now, the percentage I earn from Robert and his organization should be a lot smaller than when he was an agent, but I should still earn a percentage. That's my incentive to keep working with them. Now, some people look at this and say, gosh, isn't that one of those pyramids? And what's the perception of a pyramid? People at the top making all the money and the people down below do all the work, right? Isn't that the perception of a pyramid? Let me explain why this is not a pyramid and why people at the top don't necessarily make all the money. Let me just make a quick point before I discuss the pyramid issue. It's not the geometric shape that people have a problem with. This geometric shape is probably the shape of your family tree, the shape of our government. To the architect, it's the strongest structure known to man. Every organizational structure in the world is this shape. So the shape isn't the problem. However, that perception, people at the top earn all the money, let me illustrate that for you. Here's a typical corporation. At the top, you have a CEO, which stands for Chief Executive Officer. Does the president earn more money than the CEO? Not normally. How about below the president? Do any of the vice presidents earn more money than the president? No. Let me ask this question, and I want you to really think about it. What would happen if some of the vice presidents of a corporation made more money than the president? Really, what would happen? Talk about total confusion. This whole process is called delegation. Each level of the corporation earns less income. The reason the president can tell the vice president what to do is because they make more money. So the corporate structure is people at the top making the majority of the money, and the people at the bottom do not. The CEO of any corporation earns off the productivity of, or is leveraged off of, everyone in his or her corporation. Whether that CEO personally hired every employee or someone else in the company hires them. So the CEO, and only the CEO, earns on multiple levels of his or her company. And the model that I'm suggesting as being brilliant is where you, the individual, are given that same opportunity to earn on multiple levels of brokers and agents, just as the CEO of a corporation is. From here on, I'll refer to this form of marketing as network marketing. In network marketing, you, the individual, are given the opportunity to earn off the productivity of the people in your organization, whether you personally sponsor them or someone in your organization sponsors them. Remember that I said to reach true leverage, you must create a situation where everyone has the same amount to gain. Well, that's what I just described. Here's what makes the network marketing structure the absolute fairest structure available. In most network marketing companies, everyone can earn a certain number of levels deep of the organization they build. Everyone in the company can earn that same number of levels deep, like maybe 4 levels deep or 6 levels deep. Let's say we use 4 levels. So if you build an organization to be more productive, then you would earn more money than I would, even if you were in my organization. In the example shown, you would earn on 3 levels I couldn't reach, because everyone gets the same number of levels. There are people in my organization right now that earn more money than I do. Do you know what I call that? Fair. Shouldn't it be that way? I mean, take any structure. Shouldn't the most productive person in that structure make the most money? Now I'd like to show you an interview that I did a few years ago with Dr. Charles King, who holds a PhD from Harvard and is a professor of marketing at the University of Illinois at Chicago, who actually teaches network marketing at the university. Dr. King, we're delighted to have you here.
I'm pleased to be here, Tim.
Dr. King, could you tell us a little of your education and your business background?
Tim, I'm a professor of marketing at the University of Illinois at Chicago. I got my bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Texas in Austin, spent a tour of duty with the Exxon Corporation, and then returned to get my doctorate in business administration from Harvard University. More important to this discussion, over the last 6 years, I've been involved in doing research, teaching, and consulting in network marketing.
So coming from such a conservative school, and I know you a little bit, and I know you to be very conservative, what caused you to look at network marketing to begin with?
In 1990, we had a major economic recession in the United States. The Midwest and Chicago particularly were very badly hit. As a result, the interviewers stopped coming to campus. We were graduating hundreds of students a semester, and they weren't getting jobs. Our alumni were coming back to us, losing their jobs, looking for help, and we had nothing to offer them. Now, I started looking, because of my background in business consulting, at alternative career paths. I went out and I looked at starting your own business, at home-based businesses. I looked at franchising. I looked at direct selling. And in the direct selling arena, I backed into network marketing. Now, I was very cynical, skeptical. Tim, I was negative about network marketing. They don't teach network marketing at the Harvard Business School, and I didn't know much about it. The end result was one of my students who was on the team asked me, "Why are you so negative about network marketing?" I looked at that young man and I said, "Son, I know enough to know I don't want to know any more." That student looked at me and he said, "Professor, if I gave you that answer to that question with no more information than you have, you would give me an F." I turned to him and I said, "Son, you're absolutely right. I have no basis for that conclusion. You just made an A." As a result, we went to the library, we went to meetings, and for the next 6 months, we did due diligence on the network marketing industry. I visited the top companies, I talked to network marketing leaders, I became an evangelist. In 1990-91, we started teaching network marketing in the marketing curriculum at the university.
Suppose you run across the super skeptic. What advice do you have for them?
Tim, I would recommend they do precisely what I did. I was a super skeptic. I did my due diligence, I investigated the industry, and I drew my own conclusions. I strongly recommend that you do your due diligence and then begin to define precisely what role you want to play in the network marketing industry. Set realistic expectations. If there's a single cause for failure in this industry, it's the get-rich-quick syndrome, thinking that you can come into the industry and make enormous sums of money with no work. I argue, by contrast, that if you set realistic expectations, you develop a plan of action to guide your business development, you can be successful.
And that's coming from a Harvard Business School graduate who was a true skeptic, but through due diligence, he learned the truth. Warren Buffett owns a network marketing company. If you don't know who he is, he's typically listed in the top 5 richest people in the world. He created his wealth by investing in and buying the highest quality companies. Why do you think Microsoft or AT&T, Gillette, Colgate, Citibank, IBM, Toyota, Xerox, Texas Instruments, General Motors, General Electric, AOL, Oracle, Sun Microsystems, Coca-Cola, and many others distribute some or all of their products and services through network marketing? They use this method to distribute products because network marketing is a very efficient model to distribute products and services. These large corporations are firm testimony to the industry's success and credibility. This confirms what Professor King was saying about that the industry has come of age and is now a true profession. The reason so many people are coming into network marketing is because people want control of their life. They want a quality of life, and network marketing truly offers that. I hear people all the time complaining that they are too busy or don't have enough time. People act as though time owns them instead of them owning time. Have you ever noticed that there are people who, with 24 hours, earn $10,000 a year, and there are people in the same 24 hours who earn $10 million a year? Let me explain the difference. I've heard people say this phrase: "It's easier to just do it myself than try to get other people to do it." Whenever I hear that phrase, I know that person just nailed their feet to the floor. All they can do is expend their time, not invest their time. Here's a secret. Wealth is hidden from those who must do it all themselves. Wealth exposes itself to those patient enough to train others. When you understand the power of educating and empowering others so that you get more done, you're truly on your way to wealth. Now, with that understanding of the importance of training others so you get more done, look at network marketing, and you'll see why I call it brilliant compensation. In network marketing, what you teach and train others to do is duplicate what you do, which is to find and train others. This is actually multiplying you. That's why I say, next to your spiritual growth and your family, there is nothing in the world you can do that will reward you better than investing your time in network marketing. I'd like to cover one last thing in closing, which I feel is one of the most important points for you to fully understand the value of network marketing. Let me illustrate something to you that is so profound. What's the maximum number of hours you could work in a day? 24 hours, right? So if you didn't sleep all day, you could work 24 straight hours. What if you didn't sleep for a whole year? You could actually work 8,760 hours in 1 year. But that's the maximum number of hours you could work in a year. I have 56,000 people in my organization worldwide. Well, let's suppose that all 56,000 people work just 1 hour out of a year. 56,000 people times 1 hour each equals 56,000 hours of work that I'm being paid on. Well, for most people to earn on 56,000 hours of work, they'd have to work for over 6 Years, 24 hours a day without sleep to put in the same amount of hours that I could in 1 hour a year. Let me throw in something really ridiculous. Suppose all my 56,000 people worked 1 8-hour day in a year. 56,000 people times 8 hours is 448,000 hours I'm being paid on. Well, it would take most people working over 51 years, 24 hours a day, to do what I could do in 8 hours a year. 8 hours in 1 year versus 51 years working 24 hours a day? Doesn't seem fair, does it? It's definitely not fair. What's not fair is that you haven't understood this until today, and other people have. But now that you understand it, take responsibility for it. Don't go running and try to create reasons why you can't do this. You can do this. I don't say any of this to impress you. I don't need to impress you. This is an educational-only video. My purpose in creating this tool is to contribute back to that woodpile that so generously gave to me. Because network marketing has given me a lifestyle I previously couldn't have imagined. And because network marketing has given me total financial and time freedom, I feel it my responsibility to explain the industry in an understandable way. So I say all of this only to impress upon you that the difference between the wealthy and everyone else is leverage. You've got to understand that. And nothing gives you, the individual, leverage in such an ethical way like network marketing can. So go get a pad of paper, write down what you really want in life. Then call the person who gave you this video and tell them whether you're an A, B, or C. C is, see you later, no thanks. That's fine with us because your relationship with the person who gave you this video is more important to us than anything. Or you're a B. A B is, I may be. I want to first explore the product. If that's you, then do that. Don't procrastinate. The #1 killer of financial success is procrastination. People just putting it off until tomorrow, and they've somehow convinced themselves that they'll actually do it tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about. As soon as I'm done with this project, then I'll have more time. Or as soon as little Jimmy gets back to school, then I can, and they never do. If a person has an excuse, they have all they need to fail. Don't let that be you. Get your product today. Or you're an A, and that means absolutely. No, you don't have all your questions answered, but you see enough to start and begin your training. Very well done to you in your ability to make a decision. If it's late at night and you just watch this, don't be concerned that the person who gave this to you is sleeping right now. They'll be up. And if they're not, wake them up. Tell them, hey, now that I understand this thing, I can't sleep. And if I can't sleep, you're not going to sleep. Believe me, they'll appreciate that call. So call that person and tell them whether you're an A, B, or C. That's it. Join us. You'll be glad you did. Now is the right time, the smart time. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. I hope it's been educational to you. What I really hope is that you'll put this information to good use. Next, you'll see some common questions that you can interact with. I look forward to working with you, should our paths cross. I'm Tim Sales. You must be asking the question, how does this little group of products or this service turn into this big amount of money? Who's selling all that product? Is this something where I'd be going door to door? Did I get my doctorate degree to go door to door? To answer your question right off, no, we're not going door to door. I've seen owners of some of the most successful advertising companies in the world look in amazement at how what appears to them as a onesie-twosie little business can actually be more effective at penetrating the consumer market than one of their $50 million advertising blitzes. I can promise you that when I'm done with this discussion on how sales volume moves, even if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you will become enamored with how efficiently and effectively products and services move in this industry. The way I'm going to explain who's selling the product is in the form of gears that drives sales volume. There are 3 of them. The first gear that drives sales volume in network marketing is exploratory volume. Let's suppose that you like what you've seen so far, and it makes sense to you. Your next obvious step is to buy some products or use the service. You couldn't promote a business if you didn't understand the products and believe in them, which is the movement of some sales volume. As soon as you purchase some products, that's some volume that just got sold. Let me give you an example of how this volume can add up. A while back, I had our company's computer generate a list of new people for that month. I had over 2,400 new people come into my business worldwide in that one particular month. Now, if just a few of those new people that came into my business came in trying products, that's a lot of sales volume moving of just people exploring the business. Just a side note, in every business you have the compensation side and the product side. This video has been exclusively about the compensation side. Without a great product, there can be no compensation. And my intention with this video is to fully explain the compensation so you really understand it. You should get your product information from the person who sent this video to you. Okay, that first gear of volume was people exploring the business. And that gear drives the second gear, which is wholesale consumption. When people try products or services and they like them, they want to continue using them. Look at the way wholesale buying clubs work, like Sam's and Costco's. There you pay $40, $50, $60 and you get their products at wholesale. Now think about what kind of volume wholesale consumption is. That's loyal consumer volume. That's people loving products or people loving the price of products. That kind of sales volume is solid as sales volume can get. There are about 56,000 people in my organization worldwide. For illustration purposes only, let's say they average maybe $5 a month or $20 a month each. 56,000 people times any number is a lot of consumption volume. The third gear that drives sales volume is retail, which most people understand because it's how most everyone does business. Buy low, sell high. Wholesale to retail markup. Well, network marketing has that also. However, that's only one of the three kinds of volume. The way we market products is conversationally market them, which means I've gotten results, so I talk about it. But this doesn't exclude me from using direct mail or internet marketing or any other kind of marketing. Now take a step back. Look at what I just showed you. You're not just earning on one kind of volume like retail markup. You can be earning on all three volumes with everyone in your organization. Now that I understand this, I could never go back to any other form of distribution. It's all so inefficient compared to this. Do you need sales experience? No, you already have plenty. Let me explain. Who is the best person to market a product or a service? Over many years, I have found no one to disagree with this answer. A satisfied customer is the best person to market a product or a service. This is by word of mouth advertising, not sales. Think about this. You and 5 friends sit down in a restaurant. Before the waiter comes and asks for your drink order, what are all 5 of you talking about? I literally took a picture of 5 of my friends sitting at a restaurant to help me illustrate my point. These were actually the conversations that were going on. This person over here, Ed, is telling everyone about the movie he just saw. And what does he say about the movie? Oh my gosh, you've got to see this movie, if for no other reason, just for the special effects. At that same time, David says to Sharon, you look great. How much weight have you lost? Sharon says, about 14 pounds. It's this new diet program that I'm on. It makes so much sense. David asks Sharon, well, what's the name of the program? While this conversation is going on, Gina gets a call on her phone and opens up this tiny little phone and talks. When she hangs up, Ed says, that's a tiny phone. Let me see that. Gina says, yeah, it didn't cost me a thing. It came with a program that I bought. I know a guy at the phone company who gave me a great deal. And Ed says, I'll have to get that guy's name and number. What are all these people doing? Selling. They're selling each other. Yet if you ask each one of them if they're a salesperson, they'll tell you no. Yet the movie industry, the cellular phone industry, the diet industry just got paid because they sold something. That was free advertising for all those industries. Doesn't it make sense to be compensated for what you recommend? You're doing it anyway. None of these people in the picture have sales training. Yet they're doing it all day long. The reason this by word of mouth advertising is better than any other form of advertising, whether direct mail, television, or radio, is because it's based on relationships. And relationships have what advertising will never have, and that's trust. No other form of marketing even comes close to that kind of power. But if you have the question whether or not you need sales experience or not, don't let anyone fool you. Everyone is in sales. You sell your spouse on marrying you. You sell your kids on doing their homework. You sell your employer to keep you around. You even sell your dog to sit. Selling is simply a communication of ideas. And if you don't think you're good at it, you should get good at it. I've learned that communication is something that you learn, not something you're born with. Yet it makes or breaks you in life. The only way around it is to hire or sponsor someone who has the communication skills you don't. As stated earlier, I built an organization of over 56,000 brokers and agents who do over $25 million in business. I have no sales experience. I hope you really understand the significance of what I just said. Some of those 56,000 brokers and agents have sales experience. Some do not. The significance is that even though I don't have a sales history, I'm able to be leveraged by those that do and those that do not have sales experience. You don't have to be the superstar. Just do whatever it takes to find and acquire the superstars, or find the person who finds the superstars. I answered an ad that ran in the Washington Post newspaper. If you had ran that ad, I would have built my organization within your organization. Perhaps I've created the question in your mind, if a network marketing company pays a commission to all these people, 4 levels deep, 6 levels deep, doesn't that just drive up the cost of the product? Well, of course it does. But does that mean the product costs more to the consumer? Not necessarily. Oftentimes, they're actually less expensive than traditional products, because although network marketing company may add cost to pay those multiple levels of people, they're reducing costs by cutting out some of the traditional distribution costs. I'll explain how in just a second. Not that you should always desire a less expensive product. Sometimes you get a better value with a more expensive product. Anytime one looks at the price of a product before they look at the value of a product, they're looking in the wrong sequence. Let me explain distribution. We'll start with the traditional method. Soda is a good example to use. How much do you think a soda costs? The raw materials at the manufacturer cost about 6 cents for the soda and the can. They need a profit margin though. It then goes to the national distributor who marks it up. Then the regional distributor who marks it up. The local wholesaler marks it up. Then the advertising budget gets kicked in there, which marks it up. Then the retailer, like a restaurant, marks it up and sells it for $2. So from 6 cents to $2, there's a $1.94 markup on the soda. For this example, I'm going to divide this $1.94 evenly between all 6 channels that marked it up. That's not to imply that the markup on all products is the same for each channel. It's not. I just want to help you understand how many different channels mark up products. So $1.94 divided by 6 different channels equals 32 cents going to each channel. So let's suppose that each one of the 6 channels receives 32 cents. As you can see in traditional marketing, approximately 85% of the cost of a product is the distribution cost, getting it out to the consumer. And 15% of the cost is the manufacturing or making the product. Up until recently, everyone has been cutting on the manufacturing cost, which obviously can reduce the quality of a product. What network marketing does is cut the distribution cost. Let's look at network marketing. The manufacturer keeps their same 32 cents. Next is the national distributor, which is the network marketing company, who also keeps 32 cents. So the network marketing company has 4 channels of spending to redirect. For this example, let's say they take one of those channels and allocate that 32 cents to the manufacturer to make a better product. That's why many times the product quality is so much higher with network marketing products. Then let's say they redirect another channel to create a research and development division in their company to find and create more products. Now comes the part you're most interested in. The network marketing company needs a way to distribute their products, so they find a distributor. Let's call her Distributor A. The network marketing company says to Distributor A, "We'd like you to distribute our soda, and the incentive we'll give you is the retail profit that the restaurant used to enjoy," which gives Distributor A the opportunity to buy at wholesale and sell at retail. This, by itself, is called direct sales. Now the network marketing company needs more distributors. They could either go find more distributors themselves or give an incentive to distributor A to find other distributors. Who would be the best person to find more distributors? A distributor of the products or the company? The distributors. They're the ones in the trenches. They're the ones with the satisfied customers, and they're the ones with the referrals. And that's just from them marketing the product. So it's logical a distributor is better at finding distributors than the company could be. So instead of the network marketing company hiring sales reps to find distributors for their products, the network marketing company creates an incentive for the distributor to find other distributors. So the network marketing company says to distributor A, we'll pay you what we would have paid in advertising and what we would have paid to hire and train sales reps, plus we'll give you an ongoing commission from the products that are ordered by the customers and distributors you connect to the company. We'll take that money and give it to you as an incentive to find and train more distributors for our products. So in my example, we've removed 2 of the traditional channels out of the distribution chain. We created an opportunity for the individual like you and me to earn income from marketing a product, built a team of distributors, put more money into the soda at the manufacturer, yet kept the price of the soda the same. Someone once said to me, I feel uncomfortable making money off my friends or family. If you have that concern, who do you feel comfortable making money off of? Probably a stranger. So how do you justify earning money off a stranger? Your justification would probably be, I'm providing a good service or a good product at a fair price. So why wouldn't you offer that to a family member? Put yourself in your family member's spot. Do you think that your friends or family would rather compensate a stranger for the same product or service that you offer? Wouldn't you rather compensate your family member than a stranger? My sister is in the printing business. I say to her, Cindy, if you can match quality and price, I'd rather give you the business than anyone else. That only makes sense. Is it better to be hired by a company or sponsored in a network marketing company? I want to contrast those two. Let's say that I started a new electronics company and you and I knew each other. I hire you to manage my sales reps, and I tell you that I can pay you $40,000 a year. How did I decide on the $40,000? Is that what you're worth? Or is that my opinion of you? In all honesty, I'm only going to pay you just enough money to keep you there. And you're only going to work hard enough just to keep your job. It's sort of a, we'll pretend to pay you if you pretend to work kind of thing. Here's the important question. Can I offer you a better opportunity within my company than I have being the owner? Do we have a situation where everyone has the same amount to gain? No, we don't. The laws of economics today in the corporate world are this. The owner must maximize his or her benefits by minimizing the employees. That's just the way it is. However, in network marketing, I can offer you a better opportunity than I have. How? Because I'll be helping you build your company. It's in my interest to help you build your company. Network marketing is the most ethical business I've ever seen in my life. And the reason I say that is because my success and your success is forever intertwined if I sponsored you. I can't change that. I can't fire you, nor would I want to. So it's far better to be sponsored into a network marketing company than hired by a corporation. I recognize you may have seen this industry before. Maybe you've even attempted it. Or you know people who have tried it and succeeded or didn't succeed. I remember a guy when I first came into the business saying to me, I know someone who tried one of those and didn't succeed. He acted as though that should sway me. Of course people fail. People fail at everything. People failed at my high school. The absolute worst thing you could do in your life is compare yourself to people who fail, because you don't know how they approach the business. Did they come in and do it as a profession, or did they come in and do it as a hobby? My point is, you cannot objectively look at someone's success or lack of success as a determining factor of what you'll achieve. This business is just like everything in life. By the way, if you're the kind of person who needs everyone's approval before you can do something, you probably won't get it. How many truly wealthy people do you think got wealthy with everyone cheering them on? Better yet, anyone cheering them on? Probably none. In Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich, his research revealed that fear of what others would think was one of the top reasons people didn't achieve financial success. In my own research, I've found that if you actually make a list of the people's opinions you're worried about, it's normally less than 5 people. Could you really allow 5 people to stop you from having what you want for the rest of your life? Plus, it's normally not even true friends, because if it were true friends, you wouldn't fear what they'd say or think, because a true friend would never discourage you from anything. They'd only encourage you. Believe me, I had my share of people who wanted to protect me, but I knew none of those protectors were going to pay for my child's education or my retirement or the things that I wanted out of life. One other thing, please don't base your perception or decision on outdated information. Just because you've seen this industry before or even tried it before doesn't mean it hasn't completely changed. I've met hundreds of people who had seen network marketing, even done network marketing 1, 3, even 20 years ago, who have rejoined a company and made a lot of money with it. Today, network marketing companies are making so many dollars available to distributors that it has now become a true profession. The real question is, can you do this and be successful? I don't know you, but I think you can. How'd you get good doing what you do now? You just kept doing it until you got good at it. If when you get started with this, you find something that you don't feel you're good at, change it. Find books on the subject. Find college courses. It's a lot easier to learn a skill than it is to run from that skill and try to find an industry or job that you don't need that skill in. Face what you're not good at and change it. Confront it and beat it. Think of this. If you went to work at a normal job paying $30,000 a year, and the company you work for came to you and said, if you learn this particular software program, we'll pay you an extra $5,000 a year. Would you learn that software program? What if they said, we'll pay you another $10,000 a year to teach that software program to other people in the office? Would you? Probably. How would you do it? Whatever it took, right? Then, what if the company said, we'll pay you an extra $50,000 a year to put together teams of people to train other people on the software? Would you? Well, that's it. That's all this is. When I first got started, I was a Navy underwater bomb squad technician and had 0 communication skills. I can't see how my friends survived my approach. It was awful. I did the business part-time for about 1.5 years, and I had a lot to learn. But I already knew either you have excuses or you have results. You can't have both. I'm going to be blunt if I haven't already. You're already spending valuable time right now getting good at something. Shouldn't it pay you a huge income and give you total time freedom?